Well, welcome back to another 14 minutes of the Croaky voice. 14, maybe 15, up to 15 anyway, which is the maximum that I'm allowed. This is going to be video 18 when it's completed. And you can see I'm measuring up the Iroquois territory for an attack. I looked at this building here thinking, can I attack that on the way and damage it? It's going to have to go anyway, because it's not the kind of building that I can have in a territory of mine. That's what made me think it's probably not worth doing it, because it's going to get destroyed anyway, and all I'm going to do is damage it by moving in, and it might even slow down my troops a little. So, what I need to work out now is, if I take my troops out of there, how unsettled is that territory going to become? I just pop them out of there, and you can see, oh yeah, the peasants are red. That's the one on the right there is red, and the ones on the left there are yellow. They're the nobles. So, if you remember, I raised some troops in here. I've got, I raised this time 2 lots of regulars and 1 lot of horse. There they are. If I pop those over to there, then that should stabilise the place, and you can see, yes, it has done, and Quebec's still okay. So that frees up this army. I haven't got a lot of men defending Montreal there, but I've got enough for me to be happy with that situation for now. You remember, I couldn't quite reach, but I had already checked out these chaps down here that they could reach. And they'll make a good occupying force. Just 2 Minutemen. If you remember, anything that's near enough will come into the battle anyway. Just having a quick look at those Indians off there to the left, just to see how near they are. They can't reach me anyway, so not over there. So, what I'm going to do is send those two. I was obviously thinking about where I could bring reinforcements in as well, whether I wanted to raise them in there, or raise reinforcements elsewhere and then move them across afterwards. I'm not too sure what I decided to do on that one, really. Well, whatever I decide to do with any reinforcements, maybe I decided to do it after I'd taken the territory, because then I'd have enough resources to be able to decide, or rather, I'd after replenishing the troops, I'd know how much I had left to be able to buy any reinforcements. Not only that, I don't want to be paying for reinforcements if I don't really need to reinforce the place. I really need to think about that, but also think about how successful this attack is going to be, because if I'm going to be successful in taking this, then that would obviously cover that area. It would mean that there'd be less chance. Oh, surrender was refused there. Right. Also, if I take the place, what I was about to say is I've got an increased income then, so that income might pay for another unit to be raised back where these 2 Minutemen have just come from. Alright. So, end deployment. I did a lot of sort of figuring about. My other troops should come on somewhere over there to the right, so I'm heading my troops over there to join them. I remember at the first in this battle I was a bit concerned that the Indians might come and attack one particular part of this force, a detachment of this force, and they would do if there was an opportunity there for them. And there you could see the Indians moving. So at this point I really thought that the Indians were all going to go for me. Maybe they were, maybe they're just going for those 2 units. Now what will happen is, I think I've said this before, when reinforcements come on, they will simply head for the middle of the battlefield. So you see that one going all the way into there. That's before I've told it to go anywhere. It will automatically go into the middle of the battlefield. You don't want that to happen. So you need to grab them as soon as they come on and get them in some kind of a formation, which is exactly what I'm doing there. So you can see I'm picking them off in say 2s and 3s as they come on, to get them in some kind of a line, just in case those Indians decide that they want to come and attack me. So I've got some sort of line of fire that I can deter them with. Now, it's all a case now of forming the troops up. I mean, you could see that the Indians have decided to form a line. They can't or they won't have time to attack one particular detachment, so that's left me free now to be able to meld these forces together. But I'm still concerned about new troops coming on. See those there, heading all the way up? So you can usually tell which are the most recent ones to come on, of course, because they're the last in the list. So the bottom of the list at the moment are the lights. So when I choose the lights, they'll show, oh no, the Rangers have come up now, so it'll be the Rangers. So you can see those, can't you? The grid there, just clicking on them now. You see that they're going right to the middle. So it's just a case of forming those into line. Once I've got those in some semblance of formation, and the Minutemen, a couple of Minutemen are coming over to join them, I can then grab the whole lot, including the Minutemen, and form them all into a line formation. The one advantage I've got over the Indians, the greatest advantage I've got, is firepower, which means I can kill them at a distance that they can't even reach me. I think the most sophisticated weapon they've got there, missile-wise, are axes. And a throwing axe in this has something like a range of 40, whereas normal muskets have a range of 70. So they have to sustain quite a lot of fire before they even get to within a distance where they can throw those axes. I'm not even sure that the peasantry, if that's the right word for them, tribal auxiliaries, or I'm not too sure exactly what they're called now, but the ones that the Indians have that are just basically their I don't know, their men folk, if you like, who are attacking me. So they're probably just using hunting weapons. So really, they're not used to fighting a disciplined army, a lot of those types. Their morale is really quite poor. All I have to do is hit them a few times and they should run. Particularly if I manage to get their general as well. And that's what I'm looking out for now, really. There is a unit of lancers. I don't know if you remember, but I showed it very briefly, actually. You'd have to have frozen the frame, I think, but it's the setup. There you go. They'll be the lancers, and that'll be the unit that contains the general as well. I'm hitting those with my artillery from long distance, obviously to reduce the morale of all of those troops. If I can get rid of the general, then any damage I create to those troops will make them want to leave the field fairly quickly. So at the moment they don't seem to know what they're doing, do they? They're all sort of higgledy-piggledy formation, but they're not going to drag me in. That's one of the techniques of the AI, is to drag you into situations which are going to cause you damage. Hidden in there somewhere at the back will be, I think there were 3 regiments, weren't there, or 3 units, whatever, 3 tribes of medicine men, and they're very good. They're elite infantry as far as the Indians are concerned, which means they're very good hand-to-hand fighters. So they'd like nothing more for me to go chasing those Indians off or attacking them before really I need to, so that I'll trundle into those medicine men and lose a lot of men. Obviously I want to lose a minimum amount of men because I don't want to pay to recruit more. I want to build up my veteran experience as well. So there you go. As you see, the enemy general dead now. That's what that skull is that's dropping down there. So that's exactly what we're looking for. They didn't even contact, I don't think, so I don't think I've lost anybody at all now. I don't know if I had the wherewithal then to target the infantry with my howitzers as those lancers got closer, and that's a good way to drive a unit in towards yours, and that's to target them with your howitzers, sometimes taking a risk, because basically what happens is the AI, I know I've said this before, want to cause the maximum losses on your behalf. So by putting his men amongst yours when they're targeted by the artillery, that's the best way he can cause damage to you. So what you want to do really is target them until they get sort of really quite dangerously close, and then change the target and put them to elsewhere. But it's almost like a magnet. You're dragging them in when you start to fire at them, you know. But, anyhow, well, sometimes, it's not always the case, but certainly with fanatic type troops, you know, like Indian Horse. I'm not sure they're down in this as fanatic, but you know what I mean, the types that are non-regular infantry with officers telling them to hold back. So, okay, about halfway through this video now, and what I'm doing is I'm forming my lines so that I can get the maximum firepower against the position that the Indians have taken up there. I'm pretty sure all of those Indians in there now are just peasants. I call them peasants because that's how I understand them to be, but just are they even called tribal warriors? I'm not too sure, but anyway, they're those that are used to fighting only sort of local hand-to-hand stuff and hunting, so they're not going to pose me much damage. They're certainly not trained archers or anything like that, so which is a good thing. Takes a while to get in these positions, and would you believe it, I've edited a heck of a lot out of this as well. If I'd left it all in, you'd have already watched about 30 minutes, and this way you've watched about 8 minutes, I think. So I got rid of quite a lot because it's positioning and repositioning all the time, and doing it in small amounts, you know, just by degree. If you do it too much, as you've seen before, they'll attack you while you're forming up. So it is important just to creep ahead, just very slowly. I didn't want to waste your time watching that, but I didn't want to risk again getting caught by impatience. Okay. It looks like they're moving, doesn't it? I'm not sure if this is their main attack yet. Looks like it might be coming in. My line does look as though it's in slightly the wrong position there, doesn't it? Yeah, I think this time they are coming down. So I'm surprised they don't grab those infantry again. And no, I've obviously decided that's the right position for them. What I'm going to do now is just bring in the flankers. I didn't want to alter the position from there, thinking that maybe it would make me vulnerable to attack again. So I'm running those infantry round on that right flank there to give some flanking fire. That should rout those troops on my right hand side fairly quickly, exposing those that are remaining to more fire. In fact, those on the end there are going to get a lot of fire anyway, because they really are getting 3 regiments hitting that one, I think, there. We do have the advanced bayonet drill as well now, of course. You get a benefit from charging, but what I don't want to do is go chasing Indians off. That just doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather just sustain the charge. Okay, looks like they've got some complete units, and I'd say about half of them now are either wavering or routing, so they're not going to last much longer there. That was me bringing the cavalry up behind the flank. The idea behind that is that if I do have some that are hiding behind others that are being fired at, then I can charge those in the flank with my horse. I've taken the very good advice to check that the units are shattered, and so that they won't come back. But I mean, these won't come back anyway on the campaign map, because I'm attacking a building, but they may well come back during the battle. So what I'm not going to do is go on chasing them. If they want to come back, that's fine. They can come back and face my line of fire all over again. Quite happy to do that. Okay, that's the last of the tribal warriors, or whatever you call them, that are disappearing now. And you can see over in the background there, just over to the right of the screen, some intact Indians. I can't remember what those were, whether they're tribal auxiliaries or not, or whether they're the medicine men appearing. Okay, I've had to redress the line in order to cope with these new troops over here. Yeah, they were more tribal auxiliaries. I remember these now, thinking how extraordinary that was. I think maybe these are part of the army rather than just levies. You know, so I think they had 3 lots of medicine men, 1 lot of lancers, and then another unit. I think this is probably it. I remember thinking when watching this how incredibly brave these guys are, really. I know it's only a computer game, but think about it. All those hundreds and hundreds of men, literally thousands it would have been in real life, and you've got what would have happened in history. You've got, and you see where their names come from, braves, you know, because these men are brave, aren't they? So you've got these braves on their own marching down, basically saying, okay, the army couldn't do it. We can't just sit here and hide waiting for them to come. Yeah. So we're going to show that we're just as strong, just as able as the men that went before us. Yeah, we're not going to skulk away in the bushes somewhere. So they're braving more of it, literally, than any of their chaps before them, because they're taking fire from every single unit themselves. Well, not quite in there, but you take the point. Again, I'm not going to chase those away. What I now need to do is identify where the medicine men are. That's what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to have to redress the line and face the medicine men. It's almost like fighting a battle all over again. I know there's only 3 units there, but of course I want to fire at them with my musketry fire and my howitzers, so to keep my losses down to an absolute minimum. So it's going to be a bit dull watching me sort of form my line and then creep up and creep up and creep up and creep up until I'm in a position where I can hit those medicine men, but without them being able to hit me, of course. Pretty sure they are the medicine men, aren't they? And there are 3 units, you know, but there only looks to be 1 there, doesn't there? But, I know where the other ones are, but because I'm talking in retrospect now, I'm going back over a battle that I played yesterday. So I know where they are, and it surprised me, actually. I don't know if you can guess. I don't think I would have guessed, to be honest, that they would be where they actually were. Okay, just about half a minute left of this video. I left this bit running because the next section where I attack the medicine men, you know, takes more than what would have been just the end of this video. So I thought I'd put them on to the next video and treat them almost as 2 separate battles, really. I'll see you on video 19.